Hello and welcome back to my channel where I like to have fun with all things beauty while being critical about what I accept into my collection. Today I am doing a good old-fashioned empties video. So real quick, I just have to throw out there, my content has slowed down quite a bit, especially since getting my new camera. It's because I'm struggling. I filmed 2 get ready with me's so far, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to scrap both of them because, well, the first one was a hot mess. I tried to talk through my eyeshadow look, and the entire time, and I zoomed in and did all the things, but the whole time is like this. I had no idea it was gonna be that complicated. Then the second one I did, I tried to just make the makeup secondary and just be chatty about current events and that kind of thing. And I very quickly realized that I really have trouble doing 2 things at one time. So I was either putting makeup on or talking. I was not doing both. So that's kind of a train wreck as well. Part of me is like, maybe I can edit and make them short enough that they can be like comedy routines or like behind the scenes watching somebody who's never used a camera before try to use a camera, that kind of thing. I don't know. I've been putting it off because it's hard enough seeing my face in this level of clarity, but then having unusable footage on top of it, it's just been kind of a chaotic mess. This week my husband's home, so I don't know, maybe he can help me figure out how to do this better and look a little bit more natural. I really don't know what I was thinking. I guess I thought it was going to be more similar to my phone than it actually is. And I guess the other thing is with my phone, I never attempted to show makeup application. So that's probably what the difference is. Because with my phone, I knew that the clarity was so bad, especially like I was using the front camera so I could see myself. I did at one point figure out how to film with the back camera mirroring my phone to my laptop so I could see where I was looking in the laptop. And then I went as far as trying to prop the computer up so it was like on a similar eye level to the actual camera, because really, I mean, I didn't want to spend the money because I don't know if this is going anywhere. I have no idea. But I also kind of feel like everybody's quality is so good these days. Gone are the days where people are just using their phones in their bedrooms. Like, if I wanted to have any real chance, I kind of thought this was my one way of doing that. So anyway, long story short, my goal was to do makeup reviews, especially eyeshadow reviews, and in order to do that, I need to be able to show my eye look. Another disclaimer is if my makeup looks a little rough today, that's because I was earlier trying to film it on camera and couldn't see what I was doing. I have lights and mirrors and the whole thing, but I'm used to doing my makeup one way, and that's standing up in the bathroom mirror with all of the lights on, and I've just been doing it like that for so long that changing it up this much has been another aspect of this. So I don't know, I think I'm blaming the camera when the reality is I'm just struggling doing my makeup in a setting that isn't the place where I've been doing it every day for the past 2 years, and I'm not good at multitasking. So maybe I should have known that before I bought the camera. Anyway, empties. So the reason I'm jumping in here and doing one of these before I had a full basket was because my empties get long. These videos get really long, and I'm hoping that by doing this now, this won't be as long as they typically are. So I have a lot of different things in here today. So what I'm going to do is just go from one end to the other and category by category, starting with fragrance because I never have fragrance empties, and this is definitely a one-off. But I finished a Phlur Vanilla Skin. I love how this smells. However, the longevity is not great. And I did buy the perfume version, and it's honestly not much better than the body spray. It lasts a little bit longer, but it does not last long enough for me to invest in a larger bottle. I got the small travel spray, pure curiosity, and I'm not mad that I have it. I really like the fragrance, but I don't know. I'm also kind of over Phlur. I fell head over heels when they came out with Father Figure because that scent was so unique to me and I loved it so much that I got really excited about everything that they came out with. I think Missing Persons is nice too. It's so funny when I talk about that because my husband really likes the way that smells, but when I told him the name, he was like, yikes. So the kidnapped perfume, like he took it as like a missing person. And that's creepy. I had never even thought about it that way. But it's sort of, whatever. But it's a fragrance that he likes. I like that fragrance. Father Figure, I really loved. And Vanilla Skin, I really loved. But everything else is way too floral. I tried Soft Spot as soon as it came out. I just went ahead and bought a 10 ml. I hate that one, actually. I really don't like it. And I have a backup body spray of Vanilla Skin from the last Sephora sale. I think I'm good on that. I don't think I'm going to repurchase that ever again because as much as I love the fragrance, it doesn't last. And if it doesn't last, what's the point? Maybe it lasts on somebody. I don't know. It really doesn't last a long time on me. Also from Phlur, because of their farewell sale, I decided to try a couple of their lotions and body washes. The good thing I can say about this is they're nice and big. And the farewell sale is like 50% off or more for some of these things. So it's a good price. And you get like a full 8 or 9 ounces. So this lasts a long time. But talking about the lotion objectively, I like my Palmer's better. I think Palmer's sinks into the skin and does a better job. This does sink into the skin. I think the biggest difference between good and bad body lotion for me is what absorbs and what just sits on the surface. And sometimes it kind of leaves like a film on the skin. If you've ever used, like a lot of hotel lotions will do that, where you can tell that it's cheap because it doesn't have ingredients that really get into your skin. It just sort of sits on top. And in that way, it's not actually hydrating. And that's sort of how I felt with this. It is certainly not as bad as the hotel lotions, most of the ones that I've used. So I guess it's a step above that. Like, I'm going to keep using it. It's not so awful that I'm not going to keep using it, but it's not good enough that I would ever buy this again. This scent was all right. I mean, it's discontinued. The Hanami scent had fig in it, so I was interested. It did not remind me of Father Figure at all. It's inoffensive. It was just fine. Ultimately, I can't wait to finish my other bottle of it because then I'm going back to my Palmer's and I love this stuff. It smells like cocoa butter, which is chocolate, and that's my favorite. I love the scent of this, and it just ticks all the boxes in terms of what I'm looking for in a good body lotion. Get this out of the way. I finished a Cerave healing ointment, and then I also finished my backup Vaseline. Long story short, I have eczema, so that's why I have these. I put these on my eczema flare-up, and they really help. I need to always have something like that on hand in case my eczema comes back. In the past, I have tried slugging with Vaseline or Cerave, but I sleep with my dog in the bed, and that's just not comfortable. She sheds like crazy, and when the hair gets stuck to my face, it's not a pleasant experience. So I really can't slug on a regular basis, but I absolutely will use this on patches of skin where I have eczema. The thing that I do put all over my face before bed instead of slugging is this Avene Xeracalm Balm. I have tried the thinner lotion version of this, and I despise it. I don't know how the ingredients can be so similar and the effect be so different. The lotion, in my experience, it just sits on my skin and then kind of like cracks off. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very unpleasant experience all around. Whereas the balm version, it forms a film sort of like Vaseline, but it's not nearly as sticky. And this is the only thing that I can use that I wake up in the morning and it's still present. I need that. because I am kind of a wild sleeper. I move around a lot, and any sleeping packs, sleeping masks, that kind of thing, it all ends up all over my pillow. And I have the silk pillowcases, I do all the things, and it still doesn't stay on my skin. So this is the one thing that has been tenacious enough to last through the night for me. So that's why, even though these bigger bottles are like $50 a pop, I still keep buying them, because when I don't have them, my quality of life is affected negatively because my skin is more dry and just more uncomfortable in general. So I keep buying it, and I really love that stuff. The only hair care product I have in here is I finished one of these Olaplex No.6, the Bond Smoother. I use this to get a brush through my hair, and it takes such a tiny amount. I use one tiny little pea-sized dab of this after a shower, just so I can get a brush through my hair without pulling my hair out. And this does such a phenomenal job. And this bottle has lasted, I think, 2 or 3 years. Serious. That's how long this lasted me. And I already have a backup. I get them for 50% off at Ulta during the sales, and it's my absolute favorite detangler, hands down. I have one sunscreen in here. This is all that's left of my Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel, the SPF 50+, PA4+. I love this. However, on a whim, I picked this up from YesStyle. This is the APLB Glutathione Niacinamide Sunscreen. Same 50+, PA4+. I just find this to be ever so slightly more hydrating. I've bought countless number of these. I mean, I'm sure I'll buy another one. This has just been around longer, and it was, for a period of time, the only thing that didn't dry my skin out. I know that there are a lot of hydrating Korean sunscreens. My skin is in a league of its own when it comes to dryness, and even with those, I was having dry skin problems. So that was the one that I had found that was really working for me. Thankfully, I have 2 now, and if anything, this one works slightly better. So I'm absolutely going to buy that one again. Since we're talking about K-Beauty, I'll throw these in from the History of Whoo. This is the Emulsion and the Balance, the Moisture Balancer. I'm not going to buy these again. I think History of Whoo has things that are more geared towards my skin. This was just a sample kit that I picked up, and they were nice. You know, the emulsion was good. I generally like emulsions because I really like the consistency of them for my dry skin. But my one thing that I don't love about History of Whoo is that they add a fragrance. Now, the fragrance is not irritating, so I do think they do their homework in terms of what is an okay, fragrance constituent to add. But even though it doesn't irritate my skin, it irritates my nose because it has like an 80s perfume scent to it. It's really not my favorite. So I do wish they would eliminate that, or just, change the fragrance. Make it smell like herbs or something. I don't know, something else. I also had a sample of the Sulwhasoo Essential Comfort Balancing Emulsion. This is another emulsion. I love the consistency of these. I don't love to spend the money for Sulwhasoo, but if they ever have samples or freebies, I grab them because I really like that brand. I also finished up Manyo Bifida Byome. I think I'm going to repurchase this again. I am using this one right now instead. This Abib Xeracalm Bifida Serum. So it's Bifida with some other more hydrating things. And I really like it, but I'm kind of undecided as to whether or not I like it more than this. I've probably had 10 of these. I've probably been through 10 of these. I've been using this for a few years. And while I don't think it does anything dramatic, I do think it helps my skin be slightly less sensitive and more resilient. So it's a solid serum for me. Whether or not I decide to buy a second one of these or go back to it, I'm still not sure. But regardless, I think eventually I'll probably buy another one. I finished the Boscia Sake treatment. This was more curiosity going out of business, mentioning it just in case they come back, because that happens. I won't be buying this again though. I was so happy when I finished it because there's just other more exciting things that I wanted to use instead. 2 little samples that I had. I got a Barbara Sturm Glow Drops sample, And honestly, I have to say, I've had many of these. I've had the hyaluronic, I've had like a whole collection of minis from her. I would never purchase any of the things that I've tried from Barbara Sturm. I just don't think they do anything special at all whatsoever. Nothing that brand has ever done has impressed me. So because of that, I'll take a sample, sure. And yeah, it didn't irritate my skin, but it didn't do anything for me either. And I say that having used bigger samples than this in the past. I also got a sample of the Ranavat, the hyperpigmentation saffron serum. It's this orange serum. I enjoyed it. It was oily, so I feel like, you know, anything with an oil base, it's going to be comforting on my dry skin. I mean, using a sample like this for hyperpigmentation, I don't think that's enough time. Like, I think it's enough time to make sure you're not allergic to it, but it's not really enough time to see how good a hyperpigmentation serum is. So I cannot say that based on that I feel one way or the other. I wouldn't spend the money before because the ingredients just didn't stand out to me enough, and I don't feel any differently now. So I guess that was a fail overall. Then I got this little kit from Perricone MD with Cold Plasma Plus in it. You know, this has a small amount of copper peptides in it, so that's why I've liked it in the past. But I have to say, so I bought this set because it also came with a full-size moisturizer. It just came with the Nourishing Calming Moisturizer. That this is one of the few moisturizers by them, or the only one that I've ever seen by them that didn't have phenoxyethanol as a preservative, which I'm like allergic to basically. And honestly, I've been on my lower dose tretinoin for like 2 months now. Nothing's changed. So I think I'm still extremely sensitive to that ingredient. I really do have to avoid it. So based on that, I just wanted to give this a go and see how that worked for me and revisit the Cold Plasma Plus. I am totally over this brand. Both of these creams smelled bad. And I think that what they did with these $25 kits is they had, like, I got 4 of these little bottles. I got a bunch of sample packets as well. It was like they were collecting all of their inventory that was about to expire. They put it in a gift set and they sold it for $25. I don't think any of this stuff was fresh, and it all smelled like rotting eggs. Like, I did not want to put it on my face. Not only that, but this does have a little bit of phenoxyet, and I can handle a little bit sometimes, but this burned my skin. So I'm done with the brand entirely. I think it's gross that they did that. They're on GMA deals for 50% off constantly, so I don't think they're ever worth the price tag. But now I'm just over the brand because I just don't think it's formulated that well. I'm just over it. I'm not impressed. They're not getting any of my money ever again. Then I finished one of these timeless Matrixyl Synth 6 serums. I already am on my next one of these. I went back to the timeless serums for the Synth 6 and the CoQ10. I use this at night. I use the CoQ10 in the morning because these are just simple and effective. You can get them for really good prices at Target. They have sales, like 40% off sales on their website from time to time, but all that does is make it the regular price at Target. It's always cheaper at Target, so I don't mess around with the sales from them. I just buy it from Target, and the prices are good. They don't bother my skin. They're nice, hydrating, simple, straightforward. They have good peptides, so at least for now, I'm going to keep buying these. This was probably the most exciting thing in this Empties. This is the Glow Recipe Cloudberry Bright Essence Toner. This bottle is super pretty. Honestly, Glow Recipe does kind of get me with their packaging. I hate to admit that, but the packaging is adorable and it smells good. It all really, this included, this smells amazing. It smelled like fruit and I really enjoyed it. It made the experience enjoyable and it was comforting. My skin liked it. It was hydrating. It was straightforward, no problem. However, I also didn't really notice any benefits from it. So I have to say, I got this on sale, of course. I would never pay full price for it. Would I buy it on sale again? I would, but the sale would have to be better than 20% off. You know, I got this during the Sephora 20% off sale, and I'm happy that I was able to try it. And like I said, I enjoyed it thoroughly, but it didn't add anything to my life, like at all. So if I could get it for more than 35% off, I would do it. I would not do it otherwise though, because it was just kind of a nice hydrating toner. I don't know. I feel like I need to see a little bit more going on in the ingredients for me to want to invest in that again. But I enjoyed it. Another toner that I feel similarly about, however, I could absolutely justify getting another one of these, is the Tir Tir Milk Skin Toner. This is one of those toners that sort of straddles the line of hydrating toner and thin moisturizer, you know? Like, these keep getting thicker and thicker, and I think they keep getting closer and closer into just a liquidy moisturizer. But regardless, I enjoyed it. I also have to say, you know, this is plastic, but this top totally stayed intact. Like, I can't tell you how many products like this that are super hydrating that I've tried where, because they're a little bit greasy, the top starts to peel apart, and then every time you open and close it, you end up getting little shreds of silver on your hands. Like, to me, that's the mark of cheap packaging. And it's just annoying, you know, like these don't cost an arm and a leg, but they cost enough where you don't want the packaging to start disintegrating before it's done. This packaging is 100% intact. That's a sign of quality for me, you know, at the end of the day. And I have remarkably dry skin. I think right now these are very popular. A lot of brands are doing that. I might try a different brand next. I don't feel like I am in any way so enamored with this that I would buy it again. But I think this, you know, this is the trial size. It's 1.7, so it's 50 ml. So in some brands, this is a full size. But this is the travel size for Tir Tir, and I think it was only $13. So because of that, I might very well buy this again. Right now, I'm using the Pharmacy Milky Honey one that just came out, I think, a few months ago. I really enjoy that one as well, and that's a big bottle. But I know that I won't buy that again because of the price tag. Whereas this, I could totally see justifying this. You know, it's nothing crazy remarkable, but it's affordable, it's well made, it's a good product. Fortunately, I only have one cleanser to talk about today. I feel like I go through a cleanser like really fast. But this is the Byoma Milky Moisture Cleanser. I loved this. I really liked this. I have a problem with almost any cleanser that's not a milky cleanser because they all strip my skin. It doesn't seem to matter how gentle they're supposed to be. They really need to be milky in nature for me to enjoy them. And this one worked fabulously. It was affordable, all the things. You know, right now I'm using one that I got from OC. That one's fine too. I have another one from Caudalie that I have to use up. So I have more. I'm not, you know, running out to buy this again. But will I buy this again in the future? I know for a fact at some point I will, because it's a reasonable price. I do not like spending money on cleansers, period. But I also don't want to strip my skin, and I want to have a nice experience. So I'm always thrilled when I can find affordable ways to do that. So I was mistaken. I actually finished 2 cleansers. I also finished the Sephora, the cleansing balm. I thought this was great. I was curious about it because it's affordable. It's Sephora brand. And it also had algae in it, which I tend to like algae in my skincare. It was just fine. It's a melting cleansing balm. You know, there was nothing special about it. It wasn't super fun to use. Like, I guess some of them, they just have a consistency that's really soft and it feels good, like massaging it onto your skin. I feel like this is a little bit stickier than that, but it's soft enough. It's not like a cleansing balm where you really have to dig in and warm it up first. It's very soft. It removes makeup. It removes stubborn eye makeup. So it ticks all the boxes. I would definitely get this again on sale. I wouldn't go out of my way for it or pay full price, but it was a good enough experience where I would buy it again in the future. All right, so the last thing on my list is this Foreo Supercharged Serum. I got this during the last 50% off at Ulta sales just to try it out. I have had Foreo serums in the past to use with Microcurrent, and they burn my skin for whatever. I have an issue with one of the ingredients. I also can't use the new face gel. That burns my skin too. So I, on a whim, bought this just to see if it would work, and this was great. This did not bother my skin at all. I would definitely get this again at 50% off. Would I pay full price? Heavens no, because I can get the A-Jar gel on Amazon for cheaper. And this bottle is not the biggest, but I've used other ultrasound gels from there before. At, you know, it's all about the price to me. This is not something I leave on my skin. No matter what, I don't leave microcurrent gel on my skin. I'm never going to do that. Because of that, like, I don't want to pay for some of the really fancy ones like the silver or gold gels. I've been tempted by those in the past, but I just know myself and I'm going to wash it off. So I want something affordable. Right now I switched to Medicube. I'm not using the Foreo one, but if you're somebody that has had sensitivity issues with other Foreo gel products in the past, you might be okay with this. That's just my anecdotal experience, but you might actually be okay with that one. On that note, I am using microcurrent again. You know, I definitely have uneven eyes. Like, this eye is more hooded than this one. I sleep mostly on this side, although I will say I toss and turn so much, I'm surprised that I end up mostly sleeping on this side, because I feel like I sleep on my stomach for the most part, which is actually, I'm sure, much worse than either side, but I can't help it. And I hope to someday be able to sleep on my back, but it just really doesn't seem to be an option for me right now, so I'm just making the best of it, and I'm trying to keep the difference from being less noticeable. So every morning when I wake up, I do microcurrent my eyebrows. I don't do my whole face. I don't bother because I don't think it does anything for me. I dedicated almost 2 years to using microcurrent, and I had the new face with all the attachments, the whole 9 yards, and I used the Foreo Bear, and whatever. I tried a lot, and it never gave me a temporary lift. I was using that thing for like 30 minutes a day. At my peak of trying it, I was really dedicating a lot of time, and I would not see even a temporary improvement. So I think my face shape, whatever, it's not something that helps me. That doesn't mean that it's not increasing ATP production. So for that reason, and also for lymphatic drainage and just, reducing the puffiness in the morning, I've started doing that. Have I noticed any big changes? No, absolutely not. But I don't know that it's not helping at least a little bit, and it makes me feel a little bit better as I struggle to improve my sleeping habits. So that's the story there. All right, so that concludes this Empties video. I hope that the quality is okay. We're having storms right now, so it's like pitch black outside. So, I'm still really pulling my hair out when it comes to figuring out lighting and all the different things, but I hope to improve. I think it is taking some time, and if you've had the patience to sit through these videos, I appreciate you so much. I hope you're having a fabulous week, and I'll talk to you soon.